morning and happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. It is a gorgeous day for this final game of this 3-game series. We are at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Blue Jay fans in attendance, and it's a spectacular day. It's warm. It's 30 degrees at the start of this game. But you couldn't ask for a better day for baseball. Dads here with their children enjoying this Father's Day afternoon. And the Blue Jays have really played great baseball. And when you look at the offensive production of this team, it's pretty incredible the number of players that are really putting up big numbers in June.
This is in the American League. It's the 3 big hitters for the Blue Jays in the middle of that lineup. Saunders, Encarnacion, and Donaldson leading the way in the month of June. They're also hitting .389, .339, and .357, those 3 in this month, scoring a lot of runs. But today, I think it's got to be pitching. Marcus Stroman has got to be able to shut down the Orioles.
Let's take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays for John Gibbons this afternoon. They still are 7 games over 500, and Edwin Encarnacion, he has more at-bats against Chris Tillman than any other pitcher in baseball. He's 16 for 51 with 6 extra base hits. Got 3 home runs against Tillman, and Devin Travis starting to feel it now as his timing has come around. He's got a 6-game hit streak, batting over 400 during that hit streak with 3 doubles and a home run. And Chris Tillman will make his 22nd career start against the Blue Jays.
And he's riding a career-high 8-game winning streak. Look at those numbers for Tillman in his 14 starts. He's 9-1 with a sparkling .287 earned run average. He hasn't lost since April the 14th when the Texas Rangers beat him when he pitched 5 1/3 innings. Great numbers. He's pitching more this year. He's using his breaking ball just a little bit more. His fastball's been good. He has been the ace of this staff. Chris Tillman is off to a great start this year.
Chris Tillman was an all-star in 2013 when he won 16 games. He's headed for another all-star game this season. Tillman is set. He throws out of an abbreviated delivery. Here's the first pitch of the game. It's up and away for a ball, and we are underway.
You know, you talk about Tillman's great numbers all the way around, but the Blue Jays have had his number. He's just 4-10 in those 21 career starts against the Jays.
We talk about Tillman pitching. What do you mean by Tillman is now pitching? That's what's contributed to his 9-1 start.
His slider is a lot better this year. His curveball's a lot better this year. He's going to throw it when he's behind in the count. He's going to be able to spot his fastball, which has been a lot better. There's a good one right there, down and away.
Carrera hit a home run in the 3rd inning yesterday, home run number 3 for Ezekiel. He also contributed a fine defensive play when he doubled up Joey Rickard after catching a fly ball against the fence in right. Jose Bautista is headed to North Carolina to have his injured toe examined and get a further determination about the extent of that injury. And in his place, Carrera will play a lot of right. Swinging a drive. Trumbo looking up. This ball is a foul ball.
Carrera is looking into the dugout, and I'm sure the Blue Jays are going to take a look at this one here just to make sure. That ball was close down the right field line. That is Bob Davidson, who is the first base umpire. And they're going to want to look at this one right away.
Yeah, anytime it gets that high and close to a foul pole, they clearly had the distance for a home run, so they're going to have a look at this one.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, the ball is called foul, so John Gibbons is going to take a look at this one. If it was called fair, I'm sure Buck Showalter was going to come out of the dugout and have him take a look at this one. So, replay either way.
This replay review is powered by Samsung. And they're going to have a look at it, and what a way to start the game. Now Chris Tillman's out there just standing around waiting for the replay review. Umpires under the headset, they seem to look like they were about ready to make a call. Home plate umpire's Dale Scott, and the umpire that made the call is the veteran Bob Davidson, so they are involved in the conference.
Zeke thinks it's a fair ball. He's down at first base. He doesn't come back to home plate waiting for the bat. He thinks that that ball was fair.
Certainly be a great way for the Blue Jays to start the ball game.
well as Tillman has been pitching, he's been outstanding. This is the best angle that we have right here. That is tough to see.
Well, the fans are looking well beyond the seats, and here's the call. And it's a foul ball. So Carrera will come back. Dale Scott made the call.
That's how you use your challenge right away. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, first batter of the ball game.
Well, you certainly have to take a shot just in case it might have given you a leadoff home run. But now you got to play without the ability to challenge a call. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Carrera. That's fouled into the seats.
We're just getting word now that that was a crew chief review, so the Blue Jays don't lose their challenge.
Okay, that's good news.
That's very good news. That is the crew chief right there. That's Dale Scott calling balls and strikes this afternoon.
Breaking ball outside. It's a full count, and for a 3rd consecutive day, Carrera does a good job with the first at bat.
Yeah, working over that pitcher on a warm day today. That's what you want to see. He hasn't hit with his curveball just yet.
High fly ball into center field. Jones coming over makes the catch in the alley. 1 down. Let's take a look at the defense for the Orioles. You see the Orioles wearing a different alternate uniform today. Hyun-Soo Kim is in left field. Adam Jones, the Gold Glover, in center, and Mike Trumbo is in right. Brian Flaherty taking over at third base. Manny Machado has begun serving his 4-game suspension. Hardy and Scope up the middle. Davis at first, and Matt Wieters teams up with Chris Tillman.
And the importance of that, Flaherty gets the start at third base. No Manny Machado. His consecutive game streak ends at 229 with his name not in the lineup.
Tough way to lose a consecutive game streak.
229 consecutive games played by Manny Machado is over. He'll sit out 4 days.
Josh Donaldson is the DH this afternoon. He fouls this one into the seats down the right side. Donaldson had a double in the game yesterday. He was 1 for 5. He grounded into a double play to end the ball game, with Blue Jays threatening in the ninth.
What a month he is putting together in June. 20 hits, 4 home runs. He's hitting over 350. You can just see the confidence in Donaldson every time he steps into that batter's box.
Oh, and 2. Down and away. Donaldson, and by his own admission, he finally is 100% healthy. His legs are underneath him. He feels confident at the plate. Donaldson's a .308 hitter against Tillman. And Edwin Encarnacion is on deck. Up and away. Donaldson has a home run against Tillman among those 8 hits. Good slider. That's a new wrinkle that we have seen from Tillman lately. So with 2 outs, Edwin Encarnacion will step to the plate, and he always loves hitting against the Orioles. He's had more success hitting home runs against Baltimore than any other club.
Take a look at these numbers right here. 33 home runs in his career versus the Orioles. Red Sox, Rays, Yankees. Top 4, they're all American League East teams. How about the Phillies, where we just left from? 19 home runs in his career.
That's a high pop. Chris Davis lost it in the sun, and it's going to hit on the warning track. He knew he was in trouble when he first looked up to find that baseball. He couldn't locate it. And then he was staring up into the sun. The ball hit on the warning track and bounced into the seats.
He was the only guy who had a shot at it, but he has no idea where this ball is. Possibly a catchable ball.
That's a good break for the Blue Jays. Ground ball. That's J.J. Hardy back in the lineup. He played his first game coming off the DL yesterday. Chris Tillman has a good 1-2-3 inning to start this ball game. To snap the Blue Jays 4-game win streak. Let's take a look at the Orioles, who are in first place in the American League East. The lineup right at the top of the order is Adam Jones. He's got good numbers against Marcus Stroman. He's 4 for 8 with an RBI against Stroman. And then down in the 6th spot, Calvin Scope has been terrific lately. Over his last 9 games, a .353 batting average with 4 doubles, 3 home runs. Scope had a 3-hit game yesterday, including a home run.
Marcus Stroman will get the ball this afternoon for the Blue Jays and take the mound for his 15th start of the season. Marcus was back to his old self in his last start. Outstanding against the Phillies. 7 innings pitched for the 7th time this year. Takes that 6-2 record to the mound against the O's. He's faced him a couple of times this year. Beat him on April the 19th and then had a no decision on June the 9th versus the Orioles. What was so effective for him was his sinker. He was using it very effectively against the Phils. Got 11 ground ball outs in his 7 innings against them. He's also spinning the ball a lot better right now. Says he has to differentiate the speed between the curveball and the sinker. When he does that, he thinks he's going to have a good day.
You see, the Blue Jays are wearing an alternate jersey as well. This is Father's Day, and Major League Baseball has an initiative on Father's Day to raise prostate cancer awareness, and all of these items will be available for auction on MLB.com. See the Orioles wearing blue socks today. Naturally,
doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't look right to see the Orioles with their orange and black helmets and then blue socks.
That's off the end of the bat in front of Pereira. That's going to drop for a base hit for Adam Jones. That's his first career hit against Marcus Stroman. He's now 1 for 9 against Stroman. Now defensively, let's take a look at the way the Blue Jays set up this afternoon. Michael Saunders, Kevin Pillar, and Pereira continues to play in right. Darwin Barney's playing third today. Josh Donaldson is the DH. Tulowitzki and Travis team up the middle. Edwin Encarnacion is at first. Russell Martin and Marcus Stroman make the battery for the Blue Jays.
20th start this season for Devin Travis. I ran into him this morning in the clubhouse. Says he's starting to feel a lot better, a lot more comfortable. And I'm telling you, nobody on the Blue Jays turns the double play faster than Devin Travis does at second base. He had a beauty in yesterday's ball game. What a pivot.
The Blue Jays had 2 double plays, and a double play off the bat of J.J. Hardy occurred in the 2nd inning. There's a base hit for Kim. Pillar cuts it off, and he slips. Jones will stop at second. Young-Soo Kim starting to get comfortable in the big leagues. He got off to a slow start, but that bat's coming around.
Well, we talked about it in the opening. You got to get that sinker, and you got to get it down. You're facing the best home run hitting team in the American League, and if it's up, they're going to hit it hard, and that ball is up. Thigh high like that, you got to get it underneath that. Get it down by the knees, and I think you'll be okay. Just looks like an average fastball when it's up there like that. So
this is Mark Trumbo, who is hitting third. Normally occupied by Manny Machado, who's serving his 4-game suspension. It starts today. Trumbo hit 5th in the first 2 games. He had an RBI on a fielder's choice in yesterday's game.
And he has got tremendous power. First major leaguer to 20 home runs this year. That makes 5 different seasons of at least 20 home runs for Trumbo. So you got to be careful with him.
Trumbo, this is just his 3rd at bat against Marcus Stroman. He's 1 for 2. Ground ball. Barney goes to second for 1. Travis quickly turns it at second, and there you are, Pat. Devin Travis with a nice turn in the middle of that 5-4-3 double play.
You know, his hands are so quick out at second base. He gets to the bag, and it almost looks like the ball ricochets off of him and it goes over to first base because he's so quick and he's got a great arm. Clears himself around the bag, gives himself a throwing lane to make the play, and Marcus Stroman with a ground ball double play. It's a huge play.
Nobody gets more ground balls than Marcus Stroman, and that was a timely ground ball to the 3rd baseman. Buck Showalter, for some reason, looking at the review. Wasn't anything necessarily bang bang about either play at second or at first.
Here's what I think it is. The neighborhood play at second base. Was his foot on the bag when he caught it because he turned it so quickly? Did he pull his foot before he had the ball in his glove?
That's John Russell on the bench, and Buck says, let's go. Continue playing. This has got to be addressed. I know I say it almost every game, but it's entirely disrupting the flow of the game. We had a review on the long foul ball by Carrera in the top half of the inning, and now we have a look at that replay on the double play. 2 outs. Chris Davis takes a strike. Davis batting .220 for the season, but we know about his power. He's got 16 homers and 40 RBIs.
We saw that 4 times last week back at Rogers Center. He homered in all 4 games, and that helped him win the American League Player of the Week. Part of a 5-home-run week for Davis.
Now, he had homered in 5 straight games, a final game against Kansas City before coming to Toronto to start that 4-game series. Dale Scott, the veteran home plate umpire, has a very deliberate but kind of a delayed strike call. He will call it verbally for the benefit of the catcher and the hitter. But we're the last to know up here.
Yeah, you got to listen real quick. He's real quick, and then he'll step back. Nothing like Tim McClellan. Remember Tim McClellan? He had no idea if that was a strike 3 or not.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball up the middle. That's a base hit for Davis. And Jones comes in to score the first run of the ball game. Chris Davis crosses up the defense and picks up the RBI.
No one gets shifted on more than Chris Davis in all of baseball. 251 plate appearances where they shift on him. Well, he's going to mess up the shift this time. With 2 strikes, he stays on that ball just a little bit longer. It's a curve ball. It's a breaking ball, and he stays on it. Bangs it right back through the middle for an RBI single.
We're going to have to see more and more adjustments like that for hitters when they stare at that shift so often. And a slow breaking ball, you would expect him to pull it.
But he did a good job of staying back on that ball and letting it travel just a little bit deeper. Force that ball right where Tulo is standing now.
There's a deep drive to center, and this one is up and gone. Matt Wieters with a 2-run home run. He homered off of Stroman back in April right here in this ballpark, and he's done it again.
If I am not correct, I think it was a changeup that he hit back in April against Marcus in this ballpark, and that's what he hit right here. An off-speed pitch that was up, and Wieters is so strong. Here's the changeup, and it just stays over the middle of the plate, doesn't do much. He recognizes it and puts it in the seats in center field. The changeup's got to to be down. It's got to go down and out of the strike zone to make Weeders fish for it.
So this is Jonathan Schoop. Baltimore with a 3-run bottom of the first, and Schoop takes one off the plate outside, a ball on the strike. Now the Orioles have scored in each of the first innings in all 3 of these games. They've scored a combined total of 6 runs in the first inning, and they're a quick stride offense just like the Blue Jays.
Because they've got that home run pop. You have to respect it defensively. You have to respect it when you're pitching. You just can't make a mistake or they're going to knock balls out of the ballpark.
Drummond knocks it down, takes his time, throws to first. That ends the inning. But Baltimore jumps on Marcus Stroman in the first. They get 4 hits, including a 2-run home run off the bat of Matt Wieters to take a 3-0 lead.
Blue Jays players, of course, most of them don't have their fathers here with them at the ballpark today, so it's a lot of FaceTiming, a lot of phone calls and texting. And for one Jay in particular, the apple does not fall that far from the tree. Roberto Osuna tells me that his father means absolutely everything to him. Of course, his dad played in the Mexican League, taught him how to play baseball at a very young age. In fact, guys, he told Roberto when he was 12 years old, if you want to play professionally, you need to take this seriously. At that time, he started becoming homeschooled, and baseball became his life, and here he is today.
Well, he certainly had a great mentor in his father, and when you know Roberto Osuna, you find out that he's got a lot of common sense, and he's a very bright, very aware young man. His father deserves a lot of credit. As Tillman has a 3-0 lead. Roberto Osuna did not speak English when he signed. The Blue Jays had the opportunity extended to him to take Spanish to English classes in Florida. He did 3 classes a day, and he speaks terrific English. Michael Saunders takes one down off the plate. It's 1-2 to Michael. Well, Blue Jays got some ground to make up against the 9-game winner, Chris Tillman.
It's uphill, too, with Tillman. He is undefeated here at Oriole Park this year. And his ERA is just over 2. Feeling pretty comfortable in his home surroundings.
Now, this is a very difficult pitcher's ballpark. You just saw how Matt Wieters made the park look even smaller, taking a home run to deep center field. Little roller towards second. And That's a nice play by Ryan Flaherty, who was over there from third.
Well, one of the reasons why Chris Tillman has having the type of year that he is having is his off-speed stuff has just been so much better this year. Let's compare it to what he did last year. In 2015, they hit .339 versus the curveball. This year, just .174. Slider, the same thing. .250 last year, .161 this year. A couple of years ago, it was more of a hybrid cutter that he was throwing, and now it's a true slider that really dives underneath the swing plane for Tillman. So his off-speed stuff is coming back, and he's got just enough fastball to make you respect that.
Russell Martin bats with 1 out. Martin appeared in the game yesterday only as a pinch hitter. He took a walk in the 9th inning. Blue Jays rallied against Zach Britton, but couldn't finish the deal.
Russell is seeing that batting average start to creep up, and I think a lot of the reason why is he's starting to use the middle of the field. Most of his hits this year have been to center field. That's where he's got to live. He's got 40 hits, 17 of them straightaway center field.
Well, there's that slider again, and we have talked about how that has helped Tillman. Generally, he's a fastball curveball guy, and you eliminate one of those pitches, but now he's added that extra dimension of the slider.
He'll also mix in a changeup every now and then. Also, that was another pitch that he was developing the last few years. There's a hard pitch, 87 miles an hour, and you can see the depth of that pitch.
Martin hits one in the alley. This is headed toward the bullpen. It's going to be off against the wall. Martin is headed for second, and he'll get there ahead of the throw as he drilled that ball in the alley. For Martin, that's his 5th double of the season, and it comes with 1 out here in the 2nd.
And I don't think he wanted to slide around second base. He went in there standing up and almost fell off the base. That's what I'm talking about, staying in the middle of the field. This is his 18th hit to center field. He's got 13 to right and 10 to left field. Comes into second base, and he just almost disengages from that bag, but he keeps that toe on there. Instead of sliding, he decided to go in standing up, and almost his momentum almost took him off the bag.
Troy Tulowitzki playing his 2nd game since coming off the disabled list. Tulowitzki was 0 for 4 in the game yesterday with a strikeout. Takes one downstairs for a ball. Average just under 200 for the season. He has 6 doubles to go along with those 8 home runs.
Had a chance to talk to him yesterday before the ball game, and I asked him, I said, are you ready? Because you haven't played a lot of games down in the minor leagues to get your timing back. He says, I've played this game long enough, and I know what I feel like when I'm going well, and I know what I have to do to hit major league pitching. So I don't think that's a worry for him right now, his batting eye. I think it has to do with playing every day, playing 9 innings every single day. Physically, the bending and the stooping and the twisting and the turning. Hitting, I don't think it's a problem.
There have been times this season when he seems to be in between, as if to suggest what pitch he's looking for, how he's not really made up his mind. There's a drive to left field. This ball is up and away. Home run for Troy Tulowitzki. Looks like he got a breaking ball and jumped on it for Tulo. That's home run number 9, and the Blue Jays are right back in this ball game.
You know, these hitters for both of these teams are so good they're not just power hitters, they're great hitters. So if you try and fool them, if you don't succeed, if you don't throw it where you're supposed to, they're going to hurt you. We saw Marcus Stroman give up a home run on a changeup. That was a changeup from Chris Tillman. That's his 4th best pitch. There it is right there, and it stays right over the middle of the plate. And Tulo, he's seen plenty of these in his career. He knows what to do with it. Blue Jays get right back in this game.
Home run number 9 for Tulowitzki, and it's a 3-2 game. We had mentioned that no one has put more losses on Chris Tillman in his big league career than the Blue Jays. He's lost 10 times to the Jays. Kevin Pillar swings at that pitch away. It's quickly 0-2. There's a fastball that's going to be out of play.
Center cut right down the middle. Everything has been middle away so far to the Blue Jays here the first 2 innings of this ball game.
Way outside. Another pitch away.
Well, he starts on the 3rd base side of the pitching rubber to a right-handed batter. He closes off. Very tough to get that ball to the outside part of the plate to a right-handed batter. And it looks like when he tries to overthrow the ball out there, that's when he yanks it way off the strike zone.
Slider tapped toward 3rd. Flaherty barehands it, not nearly in time, and Pillar has an infield hit. That's the 3rd hit of the inning off of Tillman.
He hit it at the great time, didn't he? 2 strikes, so that 3rd baseman's going to back up just a little bit more. And Josh Donaldson, I think, is the best in the American League at coming in with the bare hand and making that play. The 2nd best isn't playing today. That's Manny Machado. No chance for Flaherty. Just not enough arm strength and just not a lot on that throw to get that ball over to first base.
Devin Travis has a 6-game hit streak, and he goes after the first pitch.
He was talking about trust this morning in his hitting. I said, hey, it looks like it's starting to come around and seemed like you're starting to see the ball. He says, I have to trust what I see. Sometimes I go up there and I'm just going to swing the bat. I've got to trust that the pitch, I can recognize it and have enough time to put a good swing on it. A lot of times you have to go faster. You think you have to go faster, and all of a sudden you're swinging, and then they release the ball, and that's when you mess your swing up. Points to his eyes and say, I got to trust these. I got to trust my eyes that I can pick up the spin, or I can pick up the rotation, I can pick up what type of pitch it is, and then everything will be fine.
Travis's swing is tailor-made, in my mind, to hit Tillman. Everything is away, and he stays on the pitches on the outer half of the plate. If he's patient and makes sure he gets good pitch to hit, he should be able to hit well against Tillman.
And this is a perfect opportunity with a runner on first base. Look at the size of that hole on the right side of the infield. Try to come up and in. Felt like he was getting a little bit in between on a lot of pitches when he first came up, but you and I recognized that right away. He would be sitting on a fastball and they would throw him a curveball and he was out in front just a little bit. So that's why he says I've got to be able to trust what my eyes are seeing and then tell myself that I still have plenty of time to swing the bat.
Another pitch fouled out of play as they try to get it past him upstairs. But it is all about timing, and of course Travis didn't have spring training. He was still coming back from that shoulder surgery. Troy Tulowitzki has gotten the Blue Jays right back in this game. He had a 2-run home run with 1 out after Russell Martin hit a double off the base of the wall in left center.
You know, that's why I wanted to highlight him also in our defense and say this is his 20th game. And it's been almost a month that he has been back. That's his spring training. It's been his spring training. We have seen his at-bats get better. We have seen his defense get better. His arm get a little bit stronger. Who says you don't need spring training?
Everybody needs spring training. If it's nothing more than to get your body back into playing baseball on a regular basis.
Unless your name is Edwin Encarnacion. Then you don't need spring training. You're fine.
Yeah,
right?
but you know what? He didn't really get his stroke down until about the second week of May. 1-2 to Travis. Breaking ball. He gets a piece of it. Quite a battle going on between Chris Tillman and Devin Travis. Devin was 2 for 4 in the game yesterday. Had an RBI double in the 4th inning. But then he made that base running mistake. After touching second, he tried to move to third and was thrown out easily. Two balls and 2 strikes. Fly ball to center. Jones now hurrying back. This ball is in the seats and gone. Devin Travis, what an at-bat against Chris Tillman. He takes him deep to center. His 3rd home run of the season, and the Blue Jays have taken the lead.
How about that at-bat by Devin Travis? I think he saw everything in the arsenal of Chris Tillman and kept fouling off the tough pitches, Finally got one to his liking. He put a charge into that ball to center field. Slider, hangs up, extension, finish, and follow through. Blue Jays have the lead. That is a long way for a right-handed batter to hit that ball.
What a terrific at bat for Devin Travis, and he's rewarded with the home run. Darwin Barney is playing 3rd base this afternoon. Josh Donaldson is the DH. 2 home runs this inning. That has erased an early 3-0 deficit. The Blue Jays, with 2 home runs this afternoon, have now hit 33 home runs in the last 15 games.
Have they caught the Orioles yet? They were closing the gap over the last week or so.
The Atlanta Braves have hit 31 home runs all season long, and the Blue Jays have passed them in their last 15 games. Devin Travis extends his hit streak to 7 straight games. Tillman strikes out Barney with the fastball.
Just the 2nd out of the inning. They're the home run boys right there. How about this? Road service or room service sluggers on the road, the home runs. Blue Jays lead everybody.
Blue Jays take a lot of heat for playing at Rogers Center. Everybody says, well, man, you guys play in that bandbox up there in Canada. Well, these numbers will dispute that fact. They had 61 home runs on the road, more than anybody in baseball. Ezekiel Carrera had a long foul ball down the right field line, and the umpires had a look at it to see whether or not it was fair or foul. The Maryland State Police helicopter.
They're picking the ball up on Chris Tillman.
seeing it very well, even though he has added that slider.
They have laid off some really tough pitches. They haven't overswung. They have stayed back on a lot of them. We've seen this before with Chris Tillman, haven't we?
2 home runs Tillman has given up today. Now the Blue Jays have hit 28 home runs against Chris Tillman, more than any other ball club. The next highest is 22 by the Tampa Bay Rays. Davis boots it, but Scope is there to help him out as they retire Carrera. 3-4-3 on the ground out, but the Blue Jays with those big bats. Troy Tulowitzki, his first home run since coming off the DL. That starts it. And then for good measure, how about Devin Travis? 2 home runs, 4-3 Blue Jays.
This Marcus Stroman start is brought to you by BioSteel Sports Nutrition, the natural choice for everyday performance. Drink the pink. Steel Sports Nutrition, the natural choice for everyday performance. Drink the pink.
Fans J Shop is Canada's largest and only official team shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. New 2016 authentic jersey with 40 sleeves and sleeve patches now available. Get yours today at jshop.ca. We'll have to see if they'll sell the new jerseys they're wearing today, Buck, and the caps, because the fans are loving them.
Well, they'll certainly be available, I'm sure, online, as they generally auction off these game-worn jerseys on these special occasions. You can see the Blue Jays wearing a gray hat with the Blue Jay logo on their crown of their cap.
These are sweet unis. The blue for prostate cancer matches up nicely for the Blue Jays.
It is universal across the major leagues. Major League Baseball has made this the Father's Day special, and the theme is prostate cancer awareness. And the umpires are wearing blue wristbands, and everybody's got the blue ribbons on their chest.
Hey, even you and I got into the act, right?
We got blue on today for sure.
Come on.
It certainly touches a lot of men, and on this Father's Day, it's a great opportunity to raise awareness. Pedro Alvarez behind 0-2. The Orioles scored 3 runs on 4 hits in the bottom of the first. The Blue Jays came right back with 4 runs on 4 hits of their own.
Marcus got to shut him down now. This is a tough guy right here, Alvarez. He's had a good June for him. He has hit 4 home runs in 12 games this June. Plenty of power.
I was talking with Dave Wallace, the Orioles pitching coach, before the start of this game today, and he was talking about how difficult it is to pitch in the American League East. So these lineups are tough, and Alvarez validates that point with a leadoff single here in the second.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations, proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
The beautiful inner harbor of Baltimore, just steps away from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It's been a great Father's Day weekend here, 3-game series. J.J. Hardy goes after the first pitch, hits it high and deep to left. Saunders has room. Alvarez is tagging at first, and he will stop as Michael gets it back in quickly to second base. J.J. Hardy just missed his bid for a home run.
Well, every pitch becomes so important when you play these two teams, because if you miss your spots 1 through 9, they can knock it out of the ballpark.
That was the point Wallace was making about how every team in this division, 1 through 9, they're all capable of hitting home runs, and the ballparks are generally smaller in this division.
Think about that. Think of Yankee Stadium for a left-handed batter. Pop-up goes out. Fenway Park, you got the Green Monster. Just pop one out over there. This one, 364 to the power alleys, left field. And
when it heats up like it is today, the ball really flies out of here. Ryan Flaherty, he broke his bat, needs a new piece of lumber. As you see the dimensions down the left field line, 333. Flaherty homered on Friday night. A 9th inning home run off Osuna.
Yeah, he's a wiry looking guy, isn't he? He's tall. He's thin. He's hit a couple of balls out on the Utah Street here at Camden Yards. I was out there the other day and I saw his plaques out there. They put a plaque out for every Utah Street home run. That is over everybody in right field.
Ball gets away from Martin, and Alvarez is going to move into second. That takes the Orioles out of the double play situation. Wild pitch charge to Stroman.
Slider down and in. Russell just can't keep it in front of him. Good base running by Alvarez to move up. Blue Jays were also asking for a strike, thinking that he offered at that, but they said no swing.
So it's a 2-1 count to Flaherty. Stays on that pitch and slices it foul. Dale Scott is the crew chief and veteran umpire. Richie Bancels, the longtime trainer for the Orioles, will come out and assist Dale Scott. Umpires, they don't obviously have much protection, and they set up in the slot to the inside of the catcher's shoulder, and they become exposed a lot of those foul balls. And you can see Russell Martin patting him on the back and trying to help him regroup. They brought him a bottle of water now, and that's probably the last thing he wants. Probably feeling nauseous now. So Scott back up on his feet, and
take your time. Caleb Joseph, a catcher for the Baltimore Orioles, was hit in that same area, down in the groin area, and he actually had to have surgery. Dale Scott's going to try and shake this one off right here.
Caleb Joseph got hit in the protective cup and had testicular surgery to address that injury. And Richie Bancels, of course, was the trainer for Caleb Joseph, the Orioles catcher, and he knows all about this situation. So just helping Dale Scott try to gather himself and see if he can continue in this game.
Caleb Joseph is going to wear a bulletproof cup from now on. Did you hear that? There was an article in the paper about that the other day.
Maybe it's the name on the
Telling you. Catchers, umpires, looks like he's going to be out of this game.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Dale Scott will hand the lineup over to Dan Iasonia, and it looks like Bob Davidson is going to go first to put the catcher's gear on, and his umpiring crew will continue with a three-man crew. So we send our best wishes to Dale Scott and hope that he can get over this, and he's going to leave this ball game. Tough one for Dale Scott. So now we're going to have a little bit of a delay as the umpires go in and put his umpiring home plate equipment on, and Marcus Stroman looks like he's going to stand out there. He's thrown a few pitches, and Dan Iasonia, the umpire, said, man, if you want to go sit on the bench,
I would go sit down.
Go sit down.
I mean, this is going to take 10, 15 minutes. The umpire's room is just underneath us here. They walk right behind home plate. It's right there, but you got to put on the full gear. The catchers, or excuse me, the shin guards and the chest protector, much like a catcher. So I would get out of the heat, go sit down, get a drink of water, and then come back in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, as we wait for Bob Davidson to put on his umpiring gear, we're going to take a little break, and we will come back, hopefully, with the umpires in place, ready to go. Knocked out of this game with an injury, so we've got a bit of a delay right now. We're at the bottom of the second. The Blue Jays have a 4-3 lead over the Orioles. And we're going to continue with a three-man crew. Troy Tulowitzki has homered already this afternoon, as has Devin Travis. They both hit 2-run home runs in the top half of the inning. Let's take a look at the schedule ahead. It's brought to you by WestJet. And the Blue Jays will have an off day tomorrow before they resume play on Tuesday night. And make note, the Wednesday game is a late afternoon game, so check the start time of that game. The Blue Jays will then fly to Chicago on the off day, the 23rd, play the White Sox over the weekend. Then fly to Denver, take on the Rockies before they come home to start the final homestand before the All-Star break. It'll begin on the 30th of June against the Cleveland Indians. As we continue to wait on the umpires, let's throw it to Hazel May. Hazel?
Sure. Thank you.
the plate. Marcus Stroman has stayed on the mound during this entire delay. He will throw a couple more pitches. And there's Bob Davison, the veteran umpire. He was at first base when Scott was injured. So now it'll be a three-man umpiring crew. The count is 2-2. We have experienced a 15-minute delay. That's a long time for Marcus to be out on the field. Brian Flaherty, the batter. Pedro Alvarez at second. There's one out. Flaherty goes out to the first pitch, and wouldn't you know it, gets a base hit. They're going to send the runner home. Here's the throw from Saunders. It's cut off. They take a shot at Flaherty, and he's safe. So the first pitch after a 15-minute delay, and Stroman gives up an RBI base hit to Flaherty.
Everybody was out on the field waiting for 15 minutes, and the only ones throwing were the infielders and Marcus Stroman. The outfielders didn't throw at all, so I was sitting there thinking, if there's a base hit in the outfield, they're not going to have a chance to get a guy at the plate because they haven't thrown the ball for 15 minutes. And wouldn't you know it, base hit to left field. Now, it's not hit that hard, but Alvarez has got to wait to see if it. You see him at second base, wait momentarily, make sure that the ball falls safely. Now the throw from Michael Saunders is way offline. He hasn't been throwing for 15 minutes. No chance to get him at the plate. The return throw was cut off by Barney, and they threw it over to first base. Edwin Encarnacion says that he was out, that he left the base. Obviously, the throw was late.
Yeah, that right leg looked like it made contact, and it came off first base, and Edwin continued to hold the tag on Flaherty. So I believe this has got a chance to be overturned at first base. But you're right. I'll bet you Bobby Dickerson had factored in just what you said, that the outfielders had stood out there for 15 minutes. And it wasn't a particularly tough throw. It wasn't that deep, but Michael's throw was offline and late. They cut it off, and they may have gotten Flaherty at first.
Wouldn't you know it? Here's the return throw right here. Let's see if it's disengaged. He was off. I think he's going to be out.
All right, all the infielders now, because of the replay review, keep the glove on the base runner whenever they slide into a bag. And Flaherty lost contact with that leg, and then Edwin had the glove on him. And Stroman continues to stand around.
And here's another delay as they take a look at this one. This is the third one today, isn't it? One more. He's off the base. There's the tag.
Umpires have the decision. Now we'll see the call. And they're going to call him out. Yes, sir. Flaherty is out. That's the second out of the inning. Blue Jays challenge the call at first base, and the call is overturned. But it is a 4-4 game. This one could be interesting the rest of the way. As much as we've had go on so far, we're just in the second inning. Adam Jones, the leadoff man, singled and scored in the first. Now I got one for you. Michael Saunders gets an assist.
An assist.
You put an assist to video review assist. Of course.
The VR assist. That's 4 now for Michael.
Marcus got 4 assists. Jones waves at that pitch down and away, and Stroman's ahead 0-2.
How about a heads-up play by Edwin Encarnacion to right away say, let's take a look at that. The throw obviously was late, but a heads-up play by Encarnacion over at first base to recognize that Flaherty came off the bag.
Jones strikes out. That ends a very long bottom of the second, and we go to the third in a 4-4 game. Lots going on here in Baltimore. Happy Father's Day.
Superstars risk it all in a ladder match, competing for a chance to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion. WWE Money in the Bank, June 19th on the WWE Network. Visit WWE/Canada for more details. That is tonight at 8 o'clock. And without further delay, let's send it back to Buck and Pat.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And we have gone through a very interesting bout of the second inning. The Orioles have tied it up. It's a 4-4 game.
You know, we talked about Marcus Stroman was out there waiting. Chris Tillman was sitting around for a long time. Also, probably about 20 minutes in that dugout. They gave him some throws, some extra throws to get loose. His first 2 pitches, not real good. Josh Donaldson helped him out right there.
The bringer of rain is hitting, and the Blue Jay fans are well aware of that nickname. Donaldson struck out on a slider his first time up. Oh, he got one to hit there and lines it into center. It stays up for Jones. One down here in the third. This has been the best inning for the Blue Jays all season long. In fact, they have scored more runs than any team in baseball in the third inning. And generally, when you think about it, the second time through the order with so many veteran hitters, they've scored 64 runs in the third inning this season.
You're talking about second time through, and the Blue Jays have always this season loaded up the top side of that lineup with their best hitter, Bautista, Donaldson, Encarnacion. So now they're getting a second look at that pitcher. Donaldson hit that ball hard.
Encarnacion grounded out to shortstop. See how his numbers have improved from May to June. Ground ball. Flaherty has it. 2 down.
It's an Oriole team defensively that in the past was really good. This year they've taken their lumps. Defensively, they're in the middle of the pack in the American League, and I think that has a direct correlation to J.J. Hardy missing so much time. Hardy was the shortstop, fractured a bone in his foot, missed 40 games. Manny Machado had to play shortstop.
Michael Saunders grounded out to Ryan Flaherty, who was playing in the shift. Flaherty in this iteration of the shift is way out in right field. He was at second base last time, and he is playing third base. And that's where they choose to put him in this dramatic shift against Michael Saunders.
I think that Edwin Encarnacion ball took a tricky hop on Ryan Flaherty. He's in the outfield looking at his hand. He keeps shaking his hand like it might have come up and ricocheted off of his fingers. See him dealing with that. The ball was hit hard by Encarnacion.
Might have got his bare hand in there before the ball hit in his glove, and looks like he's looking at his right index finger as if maybe he might have knocked the nail off it.
That's burning. It's burning him right now. He's trying to cool it off. Oh yeah.
It's like more of the middle finger than the index finger, but he obviously got hit on this ground ball. The bat of Encarnacion.
He hit it hard right at him. You got to have those reflexes, and yeah, that ball tipped right off of his hand before it went into the glove. But he still had time to make an accurate throw, and he's feeling the effects of that right now.
Saunders fouls this one into the seats.
You probably had a few of those in your day behind the plate.
You get that hand in there before the ball hits your glove, and you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, infielders will do that when they go down to catch the ball. Might take a tricky hop and hit that bare hand.
Before the advent of that catcher's break glove, if you will, the one with the hinge at the bottom of the glove, catchers can catch one-handed now. Johnny Bench gets credit for bringing that into prominence But catchers used to have a no-break glove, and they would literally have to catch with both hands. Ball would hit your glove, and then you just trap it up against your glove before the no-break glove. And there's some old catchers that got fingers that go in 8 different directions.
It's like trying to catch with a pillow, wasn't it?
A hard pillow. 3-2, 2 outs. Buck Rogers is a great manager, and my coach in Milwaukee, he used to point at things on the ground and 6 guys went to pick it up. Hey, pick that up.
And it's pointing in that direction.
Top of the 3rd in a 4-4 game here in Baltimore on Father's Day. Ground ball. May have broken his bat. That's J.J. Hardy in time. The shortstop throws out Saunders. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 3rd.
It's that time of the game where we give you the code and you earn free points. Today, my Blue Jays entering code is MBJ1661. You enter that, you will earn My Blue Jays points simply for watching the broadcast. The entry box is on your My Blue Jays homepage. You have until 11:59 tonight to get to the code. Buck?
Thank you, Barry Davis. Beautiful afternoon. There have been big crowds here for the entire 3-game series. Hyun-Soo Kim, the left fielder, takes the first pitch run. Kim singled to left his first time up. He was erased on a double play off the bat of Mark Trumbo. This time he hits a breaking ball to second. 1 down. So Trumbo will come to the plate with nobody on. Mark Trumbo is hitting 3rd in this lineup today, as Manny Machado has decided to drop his appeal, and he has begun to serve his 4-game suspension.
Orioles have a little quirky part of their schedule coming up, so Manny doesn't have to deal with that right now.
They are flying after this game down to Dallas, Texas, and they'll play the Rangers in Arlington tomorrow in a makeup game. Very unusual makeup game. And then they come right back here. So Buck Showalter, the managers, decided not to take a bunch of the players down there, especially the starting pitchers. Manny Machado, of course, won't go.
Some coaches aren't going to go down to Texas for the 1 day.
Basically, it's a turnaround. They're going to go down there, play the game, come right back. They'll go down tonight, come back after the game tomorrow, and then they resume play here against the Padres on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then they have another off day on Thursday. Trumbo waves at that breaking ball. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Stroman. 2 down.
You know, when I talk to Marcus Stroman, he tells me I can spin the ball. When I first came up to the big leagues, I could spin the ball. Well, look at this one. This is an outstanding pitch. Look at the ball rotating out of his fingers, how he can really create a lot of spin on it. If you can make a ball go away from a right-hander on top of being able to throw the 2-seam sinker inside like that, you're going to have success. You just have to keep it out of the middle of the plate.
Chris Davis had an RBI single his first time up. He had a breaking ball right up the middle, but against the shift it went into center. This is popped out of play.
Yeah, they changed up the way that they are shifting now. Darwin Barney, the third baseman today, is now out in short right field. Troy Tulowitzki is at straightaway shortstop. That's exactly where Davis hit the ball last time.
Another breaking ball and another strikeout. 3 up, 3 down. The Orioles go quietly in the third. We'll go to the fourth in this 4-4 game.
Fans, Mr. Hockey has earned the respect of hockey fans around the world. Celebrate his life as Gordie Howe with a special commemorative edition of Sportsnet magazine in partnership with Scotiabank. A portion of the proceeds will go to the Gordie and Colleen Howe Foundation. It's available on newsstands now. And Buck, you think about Father's Day and how cool a moment that must have been for Gordie Howe to be able to play in the NHL and the WHA with his sons.
Absolutely. It's a great point to bring up on this Father's Day. We want to once again say happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. And of course the Blue Jay players working away on this Father's Day. I'm sure a lot of them had a chance to call their fathers and wish them happy Father's Day today. We're in the 4th inning. It's a 4-4 game. This is the rubber match of this 3-game series. Russell Martin had a double to the base of the wall in left center. He's starting to heat it up at the plate. His batting average up to 219 now.
Yeah, here it comes slowly but surely. He's using more of the field. He's hitting the ball the other way. That double was a classic swing from Russell Martin. It was a fastball, and he timed it up perfectly. Stayed in the middle of the field. Russell gets into trouble when he tries to pull the ball and he pulls off of the ball, over swings. That swing against Tillman in his first time up was a beautiful 2-strike approach.
He's looking for that breaking ball, but swings and misses. 1 down. Let's check in with Hazel May. Home run number 8 for Gutierrez, and Taijuan Walker is shutting out the Red Sox on just 6 hits.
Boston had some thoughts of acquiring Gutierrez over the offseason, but chose Chris Young instead.
Yeah, it's an interesting dilemma, and of course Gutierrez had been with the Mariners, so he knew what that team was all about. Troy Tulowitzki hit his first home run since coming off the disabled list. Home run number 9 for the season, a 2-run shot off Tillman in the second inning. One of 2 home runs the Blue Jays hit in the second.
This was the part of the lineup that did all the damage. Double by Martin, home run by Tulowitzki, Pilar singled, and then the home run by Travis. Looked like a changeup that Tulo hit out. Bet you he doesn't get any more.
Two balls and a strike to the Blue Jays shortstop. Plays off that breaking ball. Tulowitzki had a 2-homer game back in April at Rogers Center, April 23rd against Oakland. Full count now.
Slider, slider, slider. That's the last 3 pitches that Tulo has seen from Tillman. They're only hitting 174 off of that curveball.
Fly ball to center, not that deep. Jones is there, and Tulowitzki's retired. 2 up, 2 down here in the top half of the 4th. Kevin Pilar, after the Tulowitzki hit, picked up a base hit, an infield hit.
I think the word has gotten around that Pilar likes to swing at that first pitch fastball this whole series now. The Baltimore Orioles have thrown a first pitch breaking ball. That time a little bit too anxious. I know he's got a good breaking ball. Tillman, if you look at his curveball and slider, if you combine those, they're hitting just 165 off of it. That has been the difference in him this year. He's going to keep throwing them, I think, to Pilar.
You have to just hope that he hangs them and you don't chase those bad ones down and away.
Or you get yourself into a fastball hitting count. I think if you hit down on the bottom of the lineup here, he'll challenge you with a fastball.
Breaking ball pulled to short. Hardy throws him out. Tillman retires the side in order. He's retired 8 straight Blue Jays.
Blue Jays on-field experience. For details, entry form, and rules, go to bluejays.com/Bacardi contest. The contest closes Thursday, June 30th at 4:59 p.m. And they had a great on-field experience here today, Buck, before the game, allowing fathers and kids to come out on the field and just play catch here in the outfield at Camden Yards.
It was quite a morning here, and they had 3 different groups of fathers and children. They came out, played catch on the field in the outfield. It was covered with people. And they changed groups 3 times. They had 3 different groups out there.
What a neat promotion. It started 3 years ago. Started right here. Have a catch with your dad on Father's Day. So no batting practice for either team. They're saving it for the game.
Matt Wieters hits one down the right field line. He's making the turnaround first. He's headed for second. Here's the throw. Not in time. Matt Wieters. It's 2 for 2 so far this afternoon. A 2-run homer in the first, the leadoff double here in the fourth.
They were playing him the pull. And he gets another breaking ball, this time a spinning curveball, and he stays back on that one too. He homered his first time up on a changeup. This time it's a curveball. Bangs it to right field. Carrera did a good job getting over there, catching the ball and making a strong throw. So Wieters hustles into second base. They have had the leadoff hitter on every inning but the 3rd inning.
Jonathan Scope was retired on a comebacker back to the mound to end the first. Base hit up the middle. That's going to score Wieters. He's being waved around third, and Scope has given the Orioles a 5-4 lead. Jonathan Scope has been a red-hot hitter over his last 10 games. That's his 13th hit.
Not wasting any time. First pitch looked like a fastball over the middle of the plate. No chance for Blair to throw him out. Scope has been great. Getting plenty of base hits. That ball right down the middle, about thigh high. Once again, it's got to be down. It's got to be on the corners to get these red-hot hitters out.
Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez singled into right, leading off the second.
Gotta be careful with this guy. He's hit 118 home runs since 2012. And he fits in this ballpark.
He went after that last pitch, and Alvarez has really put up big numbers. You mentioned the home runs, but in 13 he was a National League home run leader. As you look at Joe Biagini loosening up for the Blue Jays. Oh, 0-2 to Alvarez. Breaking ball, and he strikes out. First out of the inning. 4th strikeout of the afternoon for Stroman.
Alvarez didn't think he went around on that check swing, but put him in a hold. Now that was a good pitch right there for Marcus Stroman. Note where the ball is. It's down, and it's right at the knees or underneath it. That's where you got to pitch these Oriole hitters.
J.J. Hardy flew out to left field. His only time up. Hardy's in his 12th big league season. He began his career in the big leagues as a 22-year-old in 2005 with the Brewers. Breaking ball missed. 2-1. He came up and played just about every day for the Brewers. Hit 9 home runs and drove in 50 in his rookie season. Then he had a breakout year in 2007. He had 26 home runs and drove in 80 runs. playing in 151 games for Milwaukee. He backed that up with 24 homers the next season. And then he went to Minnesota, 2010. Played a year there. Minnesota told him, we want you to hit for higher average. He only hit 6 home runs and didn't hit for much of an average at all.
Yeah, let's try and hit the ball the other way, hit behind runners. That's not his game.
This is high and deep. Pilar's got room. Makes the catch shy of the warning track in center. And J.J. Hardy has hit 2 long fly ball outs here this afternoon.
You know, his game offensively is extra base hits. That's what his game is all about. He's a very fine defensive fielder at shortstop. He catches everything, but he's got extra base power. And I think the Twins took away that power. Well, he was only there 1 year, came here, and he has become the great hitter again, a great player again. They thought so much of him that they signed him to a long-term contract.
He had 30 home runs his first year here in Baltimore in 2011. And he's been consistent. He had 22 the next year, 25 and 13. He was an all-star. He's been an all-star twice. He's won the Silver Slugger Award in 2013. And for good measure, J.J. Hardy's a 3-time Gold Glover at short. Good player.
Very underrated, isn't he? I mean, when you go around and you talk about the top shortstops in the American League, Xander Bogaerts, you hear about him, and Carlos Correa, talk about him, Alcides Escobar. Nobody ever talks about J.J. Hardy.
That ball gets away from Russell Martin, and it was really odd. It looked like it might have been a cross-up the way Russell went after it, but there's nobody on second base. But now clubs are using multiple signs, but they're not going to chat about it, so it kind of eliminates the thought that maybe they were crossed up. But it's a wild pitch charge to Stroman.
Second one this afternoon. Wild pitch to Alvarez to second base, and he scored on a hit to Flaherty, who is up. Now he wild pitches Scope to second.
Another ball under there. This time it's blocked by Martin. Flaherty's hitting in a good spot in this batting order with Adam Jones behind him. Left-handed hitter. You have a tendency to challenge him with fastballs, aware that Jones is the next batter.
He's got some pop too. We saw him knock the ball out of here against Roberto Osuna on Friday night.
Flaherty, after that 15-minute delay while the umpire Bob Davidson put on his home plate umpiring gear, hit the first pitch from Stroman for an RBI single to left. He had left field on his mind with that swing. And then Flaherty made a turn around first. Blue Jays cut the throw off from left field, went to first. He was ruled safe, but Edwin Encarnacion alertly let the manager John Gibbons know, review that one, because Encarnacion had tagged Flaherty when he had come off the bank. And in fact, the play on the field was overturned. Flaherty was ruled out.
And every inning that Marcus has allowed that first runner to get on base, the leadoff runner, they've scored.
First, second, and here in the fourth. Fair ball. That's going to score. Scope coming in to score. Flaherty will end up at second there as Jonathan Scope comes in to score, and Flaherty has his second RBI of the afternoon.
You know, you picked up on it once he got to 2 strikes. He was trying to shoot that ball the other way and slowed everything down. We've seen the Blue Jays use 3 infielders on the right side of the infield, but with 2 strikes, you can see how he just slowed everything down and just pokes that ball down the left field line for extra bases. That's how you beat the shift, and that's how you hit with 2 strikes.
2 RBIs this afternoon. Flaherty has 11 for the season. Now that turns the lineup over. That's what we talked about. When you hit 9th ahead of Adam Jones, you can get some pitches to hit. Jones is 1 for 2. He struck out on a breaking ball his last time. That was the first strikeout for Stroman. Jones drives it into left. Flaherty's around to score. Jones has delivered a 2-out RBI single. Second 3-run inning of the afternoon for the Orioles.
And I think that's going to be it for Marcus Stroman. We're going to see Russell Martin go out there and talk to him just to buy a little bit more time for Biagini to get loose. I think John Gibbons has seen enough right here. Another pitch that is up. This is a very dangerous Baltimore Oriole team offensively. We talked about it in the opening that you got to get the ball down. That's a curveball that just hangs over the middle of the plate, and Adam Jones jumps all over it for a base hit. And here comes John Gibbons.
Another disappointing outing for Marcus Stroman, as the Orioles have scored 7 runs on 10 hits. And we are in the 4th inning, just 2 outs, so Marcus is out of the ball game 3 2/3 as he hands the ball off to the skipper. So now the bullpen will be called upon to try to slow this Oriole offensive club down. Joe Biagini will be the first on to face Hyun-Soo Kim. The Orioles have a 3-run lead at 7-4. We'll be back.
Tomorrow, but we can still give you your baseball fix on the network. Tomorrow night, we have the White Sox and Red Sox, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. Let's get you back now to Buck and Pat.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And tomorrow's schedule, that'll be Miguel Gonzalez, and the Boston Red Sox have not named their starter in that game, but we know that Clay Buchholz is back in the rotation. He will pitch on Tuesday, and Eduardo Rodriguez will be moved to Wednesday. So Red Sox haven't named their starter for that game tomorrow night.
Playing that shuffleboard with their pitching staff. Joe Biagini for the 25th time, first time in this series. Joe's numbers are pretty good. 259 earned run average in 24 1/3 innings. It's good for about an inning and a third. Cutter and a curveball have been pretty good for him this year.
Kim goes out for the first pitch and rips it into right. Jones will stop at second. Carrera bobbles the ball, but Jones had already stopped at second. Hyun-Soo Kim is 2 for 3 so far in this game.
He's got that hole on the right side of the infield to shoot for. He doesn't waste any time at all. He got a first pitch fastball from Biagini and just turns on it. His first hit came the other way. That's a sinker down and away. And look how he rolls his hands over it to pull that ball through that hole. That's situational hitting right there.
Orioles have scored 3 here in the 4th. First and second, 2 outs. Mark Trumbo. Trumbo is 0 for 2 so far. The Blue Jays have a 5-4 lead in this head-to-head matchup. It's the 10th game of 19 these two teams will play this season. They're about as evenly matched as you can get.
Every game seems to go down to the wire, doesn't it? Yesterday's game, the Blue Jays had the tying, winning runs on base in the 9th inning against the closer. They had the closer on the ropes. Came up just short.
Big swing and a miss.
He'll be a genie. Let that one go. Fastball up. He can come back with his good curveball right here if he wants to.
Curveball, but he bounced it into dirt, and Trumbo wouldn't chase. Trumbo, his first at bat, he went 1 for 1 against Biagini in his only at bat. This is the second time he's been up against the big righty. 3-2 count, 2 outs. Jones from second and Kim from first. They'll be off on the pitch. There they go. Fly ball to left. Saunders coming in. And the inning is over. But for a second time this afternoon, the Orioles have scored 3 runs in an inning. They take a 7-4 lead. It's Father's Day here in Baltimore. And before the game, the Orioles invited fathers and their kids out onto the field. They covered the outfield just so they could play catch. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn from the Samsung broadcast studio.
Boston 3 times daily. Go to WestJet.com to book your flight and cheer on the Blue Jays the next time they visit Fenway Park. WestJet, proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. And at Fenway Park today, guys, the Red Sox trailing Seattle 1-0 in a rare low-scoring affair.
It is, but it's not over yet. You can bet that there's going to be more scoring in that game. David Price has gone 5 2/3. He's allowed a run on 7 hits, hasn't walked a batter and struck out 4. Well, Blue Jays, they're down by 3 once again. Second time in the game they've been down by 3 runs.
That didn't seem to bother him the first time. came right back with 4 of their own, and that's a good start.
Travis jumps on the first pitch. He rips it down the left field line. He's headed for second. Travis has a home run and now a double.
They threw him a high fastball on the first pitch and then tried that looping breaking ball. And the timing, we were telling you, his first time up has been much better. Watch how he just stays back, reacts, and then rips that ball by Flaherty down the line. There's Flaherty with that patented jumping motion that he uses at third base to help him get a jump on the ball. Didn't help him that time.
The Blue Jays have to take advantage of this leadoff double. Looks like both clubs are going to score plenty of runs today. They've already put 11 runs on the scoreboard on 16 hits, and we're in the 5th inning. Welcome to the AL East, folks.
What were you saying that first day in here that the manager does roll call?
See if the pitchers will show up.
It is tough to face these lineups.
Tillman here. Gosman here. These are tough lineups. All 5 teams in a division. Now when Barney takes one downstairs, it's a ball and the strike. Barney playing at third base today, giving Donaldson half the day off. JD is the DH this afternoon. Well, Barney has good at bats, and I can guarantee you he's looking for a ball he can hit to the right side of the field, not necessarily on the ground. But he knows that if he doesn't get a base hit, he wants to have a productive at bat, move that runner up.
You hear coaches all the time say, hey, give yourself up to hit the ball to the right side and move that runner. That's incorrect. You should hit the ball the other side, but you should try and get a hit the other way. And he's got a definite plan in place right now, something on his mind that he wants to do against Tillman.
There's that swing, and he hits it into the second deck foul.
I don't think you should ever try and give yourself up, you know. You should go that way with authority to try and get the ball into the outfield for a base hit.
Outside, it's a full count. Ezekiel Carrera is on deck. Blue Jays scored 4 runs in the top half of the second. Barney continues to think about the right side of the diamond.
Yeah, that's tough to do with 2 strikes. You're just trying to survive right now, but Darwin's thinking about moving that runner.
I think that just gives a hitter a great focus on really concentrating on the ball, seeing where it is, making sure you're not too quick, committing to a pitch.
Yeah, committing too early, opening up, stay on it. You know, it's okay to get jammed sometimes.
Pulling the ball is a hard thing to do. Everything has to be just perfect. You've got to time the pitch. You got to get the barrel out. You're really cutting yourself off on 3/4 of the field.
Yeah, you got to recognize that pitch early, don't you, to be able to try and pull it. I think pulling the ball is like a byproduct of just having a good approach at the plate.
Barney strikes out, foul tip into the glove of Matt Wieters. Well, Marcus Stroman started this rubber match and gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the first, but the Blue Jays came right back with 4 in the top half of the second. But for the outing, Stroman goes 3 2/3. He throws 62 pitches, charged with 7 earned runs on 10 hits, didn't walk a batter, struck out 4. And now with those numbers against an AL East rival, his ERA this season against the East is .653. Against the rest of baseball, it's 288. Just another fact to validate how tough it is to pitch in the American League East.
Those last few, Baltimore, he got them this month. Boston a couple of times. He only lasted 5 1/3, 5 2/3. For me, it's very simple. He's just going to have to get the ball down. He's going to have to make better pitches and hit his spots. He wasn't hitting the glove. Bounced a couple of balls up there, and whenever he had a pitch miss his location and it was up, the Orioles hit it hard.
Matt Wieters had a home run in the first and a double in the fourth. Hyun-Soo Kim has 2 hits. Jones has 2 hits. Brian Flaherty has 2 hits, and he's driven in 2. Two and 1 to Carrera. Brian Flaherty had an RBI single to left in the second and an RBI double to left in the fourth.
Finger wasn't hurting him on that last swing, was it? Took a ball off that middle finger on his right hand. Didn't seem to hurt him on that last swing.
Gilman wanted that last pitch, didn't get the call from Bob Davidson. In case you're just joining us, the umpiring crew is down a man. Home plate umpire Dale Scott was knocked out of this ball game early with an injury. Bob Davidson started at first base. He is now behind the plate, and they're operating with a 3-man umpiring crew. Wieters and Tillman will chalk over this next pitch. It's a pivotal pitch. 3-1 to Carrera with Donaldson on deck.
I think it's always a critical pitch. 3-1 with Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Saunders coming up behind you. Do you stay aggressive with Carrera here? Throw him a fastball. You've got a base open, but you got some danger lurking on deck. I think you have to challenge him here.
Absolutely. Even though he had a home run in yesterday's game, he doesn't have the credentials of Donaldson nor Encarnacion, the 2 batters following Carrera. Down ball. Scope at second. Going out. Travis moves to third on the out.
That looked like it might have been a changeup right there. Took a little something off, and it got Carrera out in front.
Josh Donaldson is the DH this afternoon. He has gone 0 for 2 so far. Well, it looked like it was off the plate inside.
No worries. Donaldson's pretty confident right now, and he's seeing the ball. I think he knew that that pitch was off the plate.
Donaldson is so confident at the plate. On Friday night, he appeared to get hit by a pitch. John Gibbons was coming out to defend Donaldson, and he waved him off and said, no, I didn't get hit. I want to hit. And he ended up hitting a 2-run triple.
Yeah, now that's confidence against a hard-throwing right-hander.
One and 2 to Donaldson. Ground ball. Hardy to his left. Takes his time, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays get a leadoff double and can't take advantage of it. J.J. Hardy back at short with those sure hands and accurate throw. Throws out Donaldson. No problem for the Gold Glover J.J. Hardy. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th.
Phoenix Diamondbacks on a Wednesday. You're going to want to get to the ballpark early because the 15,000 fans, the first ones there, will receive one of these awesome Ed Wing shirts presented by Pinty's. The gates will open at 2 o'clock for what will be a 4:07 first pitch. If you're looking for tickets, go to bluejays.com. Buck, we got to get ourselves a couple of those jerseys.
You can bet. It's a good-looking shirt. Little parrot feather on the shoulder, number 10 on the pocket. And that's going to be a popular giveaway item for sure. Chris Davis will lead things off against Joe Biagini. Biagini came into the ball game with 2 outs in the 4th. Gets ahead with that first pitch breaking ball.
Not a bad idea right there from Biagini to use that. Chris Davis is hitting .500 on the first pitch thrown to him. So you can't throw him a cookie. You can't throw him a get-me-over fastball. Threw him a nice curveball on the first pitch for strike 1.
Biagini is ahead now. 0-2. Biagini threw that just down in the dirt, no effect at all. Chris Davis picked it up quickly. Trying to go up and missed their spot. Davis hits it high and deep and off the wall in center. Tavares over to back up the play and gets it back in. Russell Martin won the pitch up. Biagini missed down right into the wheelhouse of Chris Davis.
Yeah, not every pitch is a perfect pitch. They miss pitches. Watch Russell Martin behind the plate. This is where you've got to throw Chris Davis with 2 strikes up, get it up over his hands, but look where it ends up. That's right where he likes it, down and in right there, and he's lucky that that ball didn't go out of the ballpark.
Another leadoff base hit for the Orioles. That's the 4th time in 5 innings they've had the leadoff man aboard. 2nd consecutive leadoff double. Wieters had a leadoff double in the 4th. Here is Wieters, who's 2 for 2. Goes after the first pitch. He's 3 for 3 and going to pick up an RBI. He saw that first pitch curveball to Davis, looked for one himself and got it.
He didn't hit it hard. He just hit it in a good spot. Blue Jays were playing in the pull. Looked like he might have got it off the end of the bat a little bit, but he's so strong. As you see Gavin Floyd now start to throw and Pete Walker coming out. But he's so strong, he doesn't have to hit the ball cleanly to hit it hard and through the infield. This one, see, right off the end of the bat, but there's nobody standing there, and he gets enough of it, enough juice on it to get it into the outfield.
3 RBI afternoon for Wieters. He's 3 for 3. He has homered, doubled, and now singled. Short and sweet message from Pete Walker to Joe Biagini. 8-4 Orioles have now wrapped out 13 hits.
It's another free swinger who's coming to the plate, and Jonathan Scope. 11 home runs, now 39 RBIs for a second baseman in the first half of the season. It's pretty good production from your second baseman.
Biagini gets ahead. Scope now with 39 RBIs, as Pat mentioned. That's 3rd in the American League by a second baseman. Inside, Robinson Cano of the Mariners has 53 RBIs as a second baseman, and Ian Kinsler He's got 44. That's good company.
That's very good company. And I think Stoke's just going to get better and better.
There's another hit for Stoke. Base hit into left. He didn't crush it, but he got enough of it to get it over Tulowitzki. 3 straight hits here in the 5th.
The all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Now, John Gibbons has already made the call to the bullpen. Joe Biagini faces 5 Orioles this afternoon. He gives up 4 hits. He's been charged with a run. The 2 runners on base, his responsibility, and he'll hand things off to Gavin Floyd. The Maryland native will come in and face the Orioles, and the Orioles are swinging red-hot bats. They now have 14 hits this afternoon, and it doesn't get any easier. Alvarez and J.J. Hardy will be next.
On the road like these folks are doing right now. Well, if you're catching a game in the U.S., you can share all those experiences just like you do at home as they happen with Roam Like Home from Rogers. You can do it anywhere for just $5 a day in the U.S. Go to Rogers.com/RoamLikeHome for more info. Let's get you back now to Buck and Pat.
Thank you, Barry. The pitcher for the Blue Jays is Gavin Floyd. As he comes in here, he grew up in this area. Was drafted by the Phillies, #1, and now he is back pitching in this ballpark at home.
And they're going to need some innings out of him, 2, maybe 3 innings, if he can get that to get through this ball game, so you don't hurt your bullpen. Floyd's done a good job this year of pitching to lefties, and he'll get one. His first batter, they're only hitting 125 against him.
Pedro Alvarez 1 for 2 to this point. He singled in the 2nd and scored on the base hit by Ryan Flaherty. Struck out against Stroman in the 4th. Floyd, the 3rd Blue Jay pitcher to work this afternoon. Pilar in the alley. He's got a beat on it. Wieters goes back and tags, and Pilar will get it back in quickly to hold Wieters at 2nd. Scope stays put at 1st. The Orioles got a home run from Matt Wieters in the 1st inning, part of a 3-run inning, and they're really tough here at home. You look at the top teams this season in the American League. The Royals 24-8. Texas right behind them, and then the Orioles have a 25-12 record, better than the Indians and the Red Sox.
I think that has to go in the category of you build your team depending on what your home field is like. And this is a field that's made for hitters. Power alleys are not very deep, so you fill your team up with fly ball type of hitters. Kansas City, big ballpark, got a lot of speedy athletes. That's why their record is so good.
Kansas City doesn't have a lot of power, and their athleticism doesn't translate so well on the road. They're 13-23 away from Kauffman Stadium.
But you get them in that big ballpark with their speed, and they use that to their advantage. Same way right here with the Orioles. Their advantage is they've got a lot of fly ball type of hitters. Guys who swing and get the ball in the air.
Two and two to J.J. Hardy. Floyd gets him to swing and miss. 2 down now. Let's check in with Hazel May. Max Kepler has hit his second home run to make it a 2-1 game as we speak. Irvin Santana on the mound against Nathan Eovaldi. Flaherty goes after the first pitch, grounds it to second. That ends the inning, but the Orioles get another run. They scored a run on 3 hits in the 5th. We'll go to the 6th. The Blue Jays are trailing 8-4 here in Baltimore.
Is here, and if you want to see your favorite Blue Jays, head to the All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 12th in San Diego. Well, you have to get online and start voting. Go to BlueJays.com and choose your All-Star worthy star so you can send them to the big game. We're talking Edwin, we're talking Bautista, Donaldson, and of course now Michael Saunders, who deserves a chance to play in San Diego. Buck?
Well, he sure does. Michael's had a great start to his season, and you want to make sure that you consider him. This is the relief pitcher, Odrisamer Despaigne. Despaigne appeared in just 1 game for the Orioles. He was previously with the Padres, and the Orioles picked him up in the offseason.
Picked him up in a trade in February of this year. He made his Orioles debut on the 15th at Boston. He's got one of those rubber arms. He can throw all day. Throws a lot of strikes. And he give you multiple innings out of that bullpen. Fastball slider. That's what you're going to get from him.
Espana is from Cuba. Signed originally, as we mentioned, with the San Diego Padres. He was a starter in Cuba most of his career, and he's now going to work out at the pen the rest of this game. See if he can't stabilize the situation. Baltimore has an 8-4 lead, and Encarnacion takes it up and in. It's 3-1. Blue Jays had their 4-game win streak snapped yesterday with the 4-2 loss here in Baltimore. Ground ball. Hardy was stationed in the hole. He throws out Encarnacion. Espana with the first out of his outing.
Boy, he's under control at shortstop. He knew exactly who was running. He knew he could take his time. I cannot recall in all the years that I've watched J.J. Hardy play shortstop of him making a wild throw. He's made a share of errors. He hasn't made one yet this year, but I can't recall a wild throw from him.
He's always under control. He really gets his feet underneath him and takes his time. This is Michael Saunders as Hardy stays put at his shortstop position. And now he'll back up into a normal position after one strike to Saunders.
That's gone around that Michael Saunders will put down a bunt. Fundamentally sound in fielding and throwing.
High fly ball to center field. Jones moving underneath it and makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the top half of the 6th. After this ball game, the Blue Jays will not see another AL East opponent until they see these Orioles once again July 29th back at Rogers Center. Next time they face an AL East team, it'll be the Orioles.
How many games is that?
3-game series. The end of July.
Well, until then, like 30 games?
30 games in between.
30 straight games until we're back in the American League East.
Oh, 0-2 to Russell Martin.
Slow breaking ball right there from Espana. He was a starter down in the minor leagues this year, so they've stretched him out. His first game for the Orioles, he went 2 2/3, so plenty of opportunities this afternoon.
Espana retires the side in order. He strikes out Martin. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Well, the Blue Jays got some ground to make up. They'll trail by 4. As we are ready to start the bottom of the 6th, it'll be Adam Jones, Yun Soo Kim, and Mark Trumbo, first 3 batters.
No Manny Machado today. No problem so far for the Orioles.
Manny Machado began serving his 4-game suspension as he dropped his appeal after the game yesterday. Adam Jones is 2 for 3 with an RBI. He scored a run as well. Blue Jays came into this ballgame 20-9 since the 19th of May. I mentioned they had their 4-game win streak snapped with the loss yesterday. Jones ducks out of the way of a high breaking ball. Fans are booing, but Jones understands that's a breaking ball. Got away from Floyd.
That date that you were just talking about coincides with Bautista moving into the leadoff spot. The same thing happened with the Orioles when they moved Adam Jones into the leadoff spot. They were struggling to try and find somebody to hit leadoff for. Buck Showalter put him up there. He started to hit.
Well, it really just changes your whole offensive approach when that leadoff man gets on base. So many more things can happen in your favor.
They had Manny Machado leading off. Rickard was leading off for him, Joey Rickard.
So Martin couldn't hang on to that foul tip.
Jones hit the ball hard 3 times yesterday, had nothing to show for it. Today he got a couple of hits and a strikeout.
Jones moved into the leadoff spot on May 27th, first game at Cleveland for the Orioles. He strikes out on that breaking ball. These two have gone head-to-head, toe-to-toe the last several seasons, and it's no different this year. After 9 of the 19 meetings this season, the clubs are very even in many categories.
Look at all of the runs scored between these two teams. That's why you see those high earned run averages and high batting averages. 30 home runs in 9 games. You know, get used to these types of barn burner games whenever these two teams hook up. You can say that against when the Boston Red Sox meet up with the Blue Jays, the Yankees, even Tampa Bay, the great games with Tampa Bay that the Blue Jays had.
Tampa Bay hitting more home runs than we're used to seeing from the Rays. Yun Soo Kim has 2 hits today, and it looks like he is starting to make the adjustment. He had a terrible spring, and the Orioles were even contemplating sending him to the minors, but with his contract having come from Korea, signed as a free agent, he had to approve a demotion, and he didn't do it.
He didn't do it. I was going to say, hi, you have a choice to be in the big leagues or the minor leagues. What are you going to do? He's going to stay here. I think this is a lot like a lot of the players that come over from Asia and their first taste of the major leagues. It's a little bit harder. The pitching staffs are a little deeper. The breaking ball's a little bit better. They throw just a little bit harder, and it's going to take half the season before you start to figure it out.
Hardware and Building Center locations. Proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
2 down as Kim grounds out to second. Mark Trumbo has gone 0 for 3. The Orioles struck first this afternoon. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the first. The Blue Jays stormed right back in the top of the second. Troy Tulowitzki and Devin Travis both hit 2-run home runs in the second to give the Blue Jays a lead, but it lasted just a half an inning as the Orioles came right back and scored a run in the bottom of the second. Baltimore got 3 more in the fourth and a single run in the fifth.
What was the common denominator in each one of those innings that they scored in this afternoon?
Leadoff man reached.
That's right. Leadoff man got on via hit. A couple of doubles and a couple of singles. They each came around to score, each one of them.
Adam Jones had a leadoff single. He scored in the first. Pedro Alvarez had a single in the second to start things off. He came around to score. Then in the fourth, Matt Wieters had a leadoff double. Same for Chris Davis in the fifth. He had a leadoff double, and all 4 of those leadoff hitters in each of those innings came around to score. It's a high pop-up over near the Blue Jays dugout. Russell Martin is there, reached in, had a shot at it, and Tim Leeper was standing at the top of the steps to make sure Russell didn't fall into the dugout.
You know, we have seen Russell over the years go into the dugout or climb up on that fence to try and make that play. He wanted that one. Very determined as he went over in front of that dugout to make that catch. There's Leeper to help him, and it's just off of his glove. And I was watching him after he missed that ball. He wanted that one. You don't give many chances like that to jump into the dugout to make that play.
And Leeper did exactly what you expect from your coach, to make sure that the catcher doesn't fall into that dugout through that opening. 2-2, 2 outs. Well, Martin wanted it because Trumbo was such a powerful hitter to get a chance to retire him on a pop-out.
Blue Jays have done a good job with him, though, this year. Coming into this game, he was just over 200 against them. He hasn't hit a home run.
Another pop-up.
He's hit a home run against everybody else. This is his 10th game against the Blue Jays this season. He hasn't homered against them.
He's 7 for 37 against the Blue Jays. He has his 1 extra base hit. That was a double. 3-2, 2 outs. Was it foul? Floyd is working him over, inside, outside, fastballs, breaking balls. A little bit of everything right here. Gavin came into the game with 2 on and nobody out in the fifth, and retired the next 3 batters. He's gotten the first 2 here in the 6th, 5 straight. Tulowitzki backing up onto the outfield grass, makes the catch, and Gavin Floyd has 2 perfect innings of relief. Go to the 7th. Blue Jays down by 4. the all-new Civic 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Second inning, after a double by Russell Martin, Troy Tulowitzki comes up to the plate and picks on this low changeup, and he goes down and gets it off of Chris Tillman, sends it into the seats. Home run number 9 for Tulowitzki this season, his first since coming back. That is our drive of the game this afternoon. That's a good sign when he was able to adjust to that changeup, go down there and get it and drive it out of here.
So Tulowitzki will lead things off here in the 7th. He goes after the first pitch, and that's sliced into the seats down the right side. Tulo is 1 for 2 with that home run. Well, this would be a great game for the Blue Jays to come back in. A chance to win the series with a comeback. First 2 were split a game apiece.
These are the kind of games where you come in late in the ball game, you're down by 3 or 4 runs, and you say, let's break their hearts right here. Let's just take it right to them, break their hearts, and send them home with a loss.
Tulowitzki, that's a fair ball down the right side. Tulowitzki's headed for second. Trumbull's having trouble tracking it down. It kicked past him, but Tulowitzki stops at second with a leadoff double. 2 for 3 day, couple extra base hits for Tulowitzki.
That's how you hit that ball down and away. It looked like a fastball from Despagne. Right on the outside part of the plate, and Tulo just slices that ball the other way. Doesn't overswing, just make good contact, keeps it fair down the right field line. Good start for the Blue Jays here in the 7th.
Leadoff double for the Jays. Let's see if they can't capitalize with their leadoff man reaching base. They had a leadoff double in the 5th, but stranded Devin Travis. Breaking ball pulled foul. 0-2. Well, you just know that Despagne is going to work Pilar away. Either fastball or breaking ball. He's going to throw him something down and away. They have seen Pilar chase, and he will expand that zone.
I think he's going to get a breaking ball. I haven't seen too much of this guy. It's only his 2nd year in the big leagues. And he was over in the National League. There it is, down and away. Like it might have been a slider.
One and 2 to Kevin Pillar. Ground ball, backhanded by Flaherty, long throw, just in time. Nice play by Ryan Flaherty at 3rd. 1 out. Let's check in with Hazel May. '15th home run for Betts. It also gives him 50 RBIs. So one of the best players in baseball, batting .296 after a 3-hit afternoon at Fenway.
Out of the leadoff spot, he's got 50 RBIs.
Devin Travis puts a charge in it. That's going to be over the head of Jones, up against the wall. Tulowitzki's in to score, and Devin Travis is having some day. A pair of doubles and a home run. Devin has driven in 3 runs now.
We might be seeing Devin Travis move up that lineup in the batting order. He doesn't waste any time. First pitch fastball. He hammers this ball to center field. He homered to center field his first time up. Then he doubled down the left field line. Then hits another ball over Adam Jones's head. Center field, the deepest part of the ballpark at 410. Scoring Tulowitzki. Just like that, the Blue Jays are within striking distance.
They sure are. And Justin Smoke will come off the bench and bat for Darwin Barney. Smoke was 0 for 4 in the game yesterday afternoon with 3 strikeouts. He goes after that first pitch. Won't get a home run here on Friday night. A 2-run shot in the 4th inning. For the series, that's his only hit. He's 1 for 8.
Lots of slow curveballs. That's what we're seeing from the Orioles. They got the book on them right now.
Wasted a fastball away. Boy, Espana didn't even look at Devin Travis at second.
Too worried about this guy at the plate right here, trying to make a pitch. J.J. Hardy picked up on it. Now look where Hardy is, right behind Travis.
Espana gave him a couple of looks and misses with that fastball. Well, you got to believe that it's going to be some kind of off-speed pitch here. 2-2.
Maybe another one of those slow curveballs.
Ground ball. Hardy missed it. Devin Travis is coming around third. He's going to score. We've been singing the praises of J.J. Hardy all afternoon, and that went right through his legs.
Wow. You know, the ball was hit right at him. Devin Travis was standing in front of him. I don't know if he got blocked off. Let's take a look at this angle. We'll tell you. No, he wasn't blocked off at all. But it came off the mound and had a wicked hop right at him. He'll be charged with his first error. And that allows the Blue Jay to score another run. Yeah, we've been singing his praises. He's been great.
See, Ryan Goins taking over as a pinch runner for Smoke at first. But now back to the top of the order. Blue Jays got something cooking here in the 7th. 2 runs in. Ground ball. Hardy gets another chance. Second for 1. Back to the first. Not in time. Ryan Goins out on the force. But that'll get Donaldson to the plate.
Well, the ball just was not hit hard enough by Ezekiel Carrera for the Orioles to turn 2 on that one. Scope gave it the try.
Blue Jays are looking at this review, whether or not it was a neighborhood play at second, whether Scope was on the base, and that's what the holdup is.
Second base.
And John Givens is going to ask the umpires to have a look at that. The turn at second.
I think it's, excuse me, Buck, I think it's the same thing that Buck Showalter did to the Blue Jays earlier in this game. Did he catch the ball with his foot on the base? It's called the neighborhood play. They put that back in when they initiated that slide rule that you have to be on the base now when you catch the ball. From that replay, it looked like he was fine. One more time.
Boy, that's close, isn't it? His left foot. He picked his left foot off the base just about when he caught the ball. And we have had, I think this is our 4th review today. We've had an umpire review, a couple of challenges.
If this goes in the Blue Jays' way and they reverse that call, this could be huge. One more time. When is the ball in his glove? Didn't really get a good shot there to see if the ball was in his glove when his foot was on the base.
The infielder, Scope in this case, has to have contact with the base when he catches the ball. In years past, without the neighborhood rule in effect, you would oftentimes see infielders step on the bag and leave the base before they caught the ball, and it was assumed that it was a double play. It was called, he was in the neighborhood and the base runner's out.
That was a way of protecting that infielder around the bag when the runner would go in there to try and break up the double play. And you can see the 2 middle infielders, they're checking the scoreboard here. They're showing the replay of that play on the scoreboard here. It's close. I mean, it's really close.
Well, the umpires are taking their headsets off, and the call on the field stands as Nenai Sonia made the call. It's a senior umpire. The crew chief was knocked out of the ball game way back early in the game in the 2nd inning, and Sonia has assumed the senior role. Buck Showalter has come out of the dugout. He's already made the call to the bullpen. He'll make a pitching change here. It's an 8-6 game. The Blue Jays trail by 2. Brad Brock will come into the ball game to face Josh Donaldson, and the Blue Jays have a runner at first. Donaldson represents the tying run.
A new way to live stream sports without cable. All you need is the internet. Visit sportsnet.ca/now to start your free trial, and it fits perfectly in a shopping cart. So if you're out and about, great way to keep up with the game.
Well, you're going to have it right now to keep up with this game because the Blue Jays have made it very interesting. Josh Donaldson will face Brad Brock, the new pitcher, into the ball game for the Orioles.
It's one of the best setup men in the American League. 30 games now for Brock. This is number 31 that leads the O's. He's 5-1.
He appealed down to Lance Barrett at first, and he said that Donaldson went too far. It's strike one to Donaldson.
Josh knows all about Brad Brock. He has faced him 8 times.
He's got 3 hits in those 8 at-bats. Donaldson is 0 for 3 so far in this game, and now he's quickly behind 0-2. Troy Tulowitzki started this inning with an opposite field double. He was cashed in by Devin Travis, his 2nd double of the afternoon, his 3rd hit. And then the Blue Jays scored a 2nd run on the air by J.J. Hardy. Donaldson takes a low pitch. 1-2. Blue Jays have made it a ball game here, despite the fact they've been out hit 14-7 by the Orioles. Two and two.
Nasty slider right there from Brock. Orioles defense giving the Blue Jays a chance. They've cracked the door open for him just a little bit here. They've taken advantage of the error by scoring Travis. Now they need to come up with the big hit.
Donaldson works the count to full. That'll give Carrera a running start at first. And if Donaldson should reach, the win Encarnacion would come to the plate. 8-6 Orioles. There goes the runner. Donaldson strikes out. That ends the inning with the Blue Jays scored 2 in the top of the 7th. What a day for Devin Travis. He got things going in the 2nd with a home run to straightaway center, a 2-run shot. And then in the 5th, he hits a leadoff double down the left field line. Then here in the 7th, an RBI double over the head of Adam Jones. A 3-for-3 day for the Blue Jays second baseman.
North American Car of the Year.
Fans membership kits are now available for the 2016 Junior Jays Club presented by Boston Pizza. This year's kit includes a Blue Jays ball cap, sunglasses, backpack, and more. Exclusive access to members-only events such as a movie night and photo day with Blue Jays players. Purchase your membership kit at any Jays Shop location or by visiting jayshop.ca. Let's get you back now to Buck and Pat as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And we got a ball game here. It's a 2-run game. Always have a lead. 8-6. Chad Gerardo was into the ball game to face Chris Davis to start this inning.
Chad pitched in Friday's game, had a very clean inning. In fact, he had to face the middle of the lineup of the Baltimore Orioles. He handled Machado, struck out Davis, and got Trumbo on a ground out. 13 games this season for the Blue Jays, the only lefty in their bullpen. Fastball, slider. He was drafted originally by the Jays a couple of seasons ago and came right through the farm system. Shows an aptitude of throwing a lot of strikes.
See his numbers against the left-handed hitters, and that's why he's in to start the game. Ryan Goins entered the ballgame as a pinch runner for Justin Smoke, who hit for Darwin Barney, so Goins takes over defensively at third base for Barney. It's a big inning for the Blue Jays as they have cut into the Orioles' lead with 2 runs in the top half of the inning. Now Chad Gerardo is charged with putting up a 0 here in the bottom of the 7th.
What a job by Gavin Floyd. 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down. Give the offense a chance to get back into the ball game. Chad Gerardo's got to do the same thing.
Chris Davis takes a pitch inside. As Pat mentioned, Gerardo got Davis looking at strike 3 on Friday night. That was in the 8th inning. Gerardo had a 1-2-3 8th inning. Davis hit a leadoff double and came around to score in the 5th. That's going to beat the shift all the way up against the wall in right. Carrera's playing it off the wall. Davis has another leadoff double. The Blue Jays just can't get that first out of the inning.
And every time they allow that first runner to get on base, he has come around to score. Chris Davis did it to him the last time that he was up. 5th inning, he had a double. He came around to score, and John Gibbons is not wasting any time. He's going matchup to matchup here.
Matt Wieters is a switch hitter. He's the next batter, so Gerardo will turn things over to John Gibbons. It'll be Jesse Chavez coming out of the Blue Jays bullpen. Chris Davis has the leadoff double. Runner in scoring position. Chavez will come in to face the switch hitting catcher Matt Wieters when we come back to Baltimore. Enjoy an off day tomorrow, and then they'll pick things up on Tuesday night. Patrick Corbin will start for the Arizona Diamondbacks against Marco Estrada. And then on Wednesday, note the start time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's the pregame show. Robbie Ray will go to the mound for Arizona against Jay Happ. Happ at 8-3. A short 2-game series against the Diamondbacks Tuesday and Wednesday.
A couple of lefties, and the Blue Jays are 10-7 versus lefties. But first things first, got to figure out what to do here in the 7th inning. Jesse Chavez for the 26th time now into the ball game. Jesse has been lights out lately. He's averaging a strikeout an inning. Going to have to wiggle out of some problems here. Jesse pitched yesterday. He too had a clean inning with a strikeout.
Drops that breaking ball in there for a strike to get ahead of Matt Wieters. Wieters, like Devin Travis, has had a 3-hit afternoon. A 2-run home run, a leadoff double, and an RBI single. Chavez powers that fastball upstairs. Matt Wieters is a switch hitter, and John Gibbons had the option of keeping Wieters hitting as a right-hander. But I believe that he feels like Chavez can strike out Wieters with that fastball, get it upstairs.
And he needs one right here. Davis and Wieters have had a great game today.
Base hit, his 4th hit of the afternoon, and they're going to wave home Davis. Saunders took a long time to get to that ball, and Davis comes in to score. Matt Wieters, a 4-hit day. An 0-2 pitch away, and he just slapped it past the third baseman into left.
Oh, that might have been a ball. That might have been off the plate. It looked like he was just trying to set him up for something else, but Wieters cuts his swing down and just punches at it. Watch where this pitch is. Just something away, up and away. Not every hit is a perfect swing. Sometimes you just beat the ship by just poking the ball the other way with 2 strikes. Davis is going to score without a throw. And again, a leadoff batter gets on, and the Orioles find a way to bring him around.
That's the 5th 4-hit day for Wieters. Actually, the 6th 4-hit game for Wieters in his career. First this season. And the Orioles get a run back quickly. Blue Jays got 2 in the top half of the inning. They come right back. The Orioles pick up 1 here in the bottom half. Still nobody out. That ball is hit high and deep to left and way back off the bat of Jonathan Schoop. His 3rd hit of the afternoon, home run number 12. And the Orioles continue to pour it on the Blue Jays here this afternoon.
Schoop now has 69 hits on the season. 28 of them are extra base hits. There are some big days ahead of him, I think. 12th home run, and whenever he homers, the O's are 32-7 in a game, which he gets a home run. This is a no doubt about it. It looked like one of those front door cutters again, Buck, on the inner half, and Schoop sends this one into orbit a long way to left field.
I tell you what, I have seen Jonathan Schoop swing the bat. I don't know if he's ever hit a home run farther than that. That thing was way back there in left field, above the aisle in left. Second home run the Orioles have hit. They have now hit 17 hits this afternoon.
Schoop, for his career, they're 32-7 when he hits a home run. And that's where he hit that ball, way up there over those stands.
17 hits, a season high for Baltimore. They had 16 hits against the Twins in Minnesota on the 11th of May. Alvarez strikes out. That's the first out of the inning. The Orioles, boy, every time they've got a guy leading off on base, he comes in to score. In this case, they've scored 3. Third time this afternoon, the Orioles have scored 3 in an inning.
It's also the second time where the Blue Jays scored, and the Orioles came right back and scored in the bottom of the inning.
J.J. Hardy jumps on one high and deep to left. Saunders at the wall, jumps. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Nice play by Michael Saunders. He stayed right with it and robs J.J. Hardy of a home run.
You know, this is one of the few ballparks in baseball where an outfielder can go over the wall into the stands and make a catch and rob a guy of a home run. Michael Saunders is going to use all 6'4" of his frame to get up there, time it perfectly, and take a home run away from J.J. Hardy. What a play by Michael Saunders. Jumps up over the fan to take that one away.
Ryan Flaherty hits one. Nice play by Encarnacion, and the Orioles are retired in the bottom of the 7th, but they scored 3 more runs. Big day for Matt Wieters and Jonathan Schoop. 11-6 Orioles.
VIP Blue Jays experience is like alumni meet and greet, seat upgrades, offers, and more with Game Plus, part of the MLB.com ballpark app. Learn more at BlueJays.com/Game Plus. And Buck, so many great Blue Jay alumni. It would be great to meet any one of them.
Thank you very much, Barry. Pat and I appreciate that. We get the chance to say hello to you every day.
We get to see a bunch of them tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be great. Jays Care Golf Tournament tomorrow. A lot of the alumni are coming in. A terrific list of former players will be taking part in that Jays Care Charity Golf Tournament. Brad Brock, boy, he came in and put out the fire in the 7th. That ignited the Orioles offense as they were able to score 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th. But Brock struck out Josh Donaldson with a man aboard. The Orioles are down a key member of their bullpen in Darren O'Day, and Brock has stepped up and really filled his shoes very effectively.
They've got 2 very underrated pitchers, I think.
Carnacion gets jammed, and he's thrown out by the third baseman, Ryan Flaherty.
2 very underrated relievers that they have used in the middle to the 8th inning in Michael Givens and Brad Brock. Between them, they have won 10 games this year.
You see the difference between the Orioles starters ERA and the bullpen ERA. It's very impressive. They rank 2nd in the American League in bullpen ERA. The opponent's hitting just .251. And you're right. Givens, Brock, and Zach Britton, their closer, have been spot on all year.
Really filling in for the absence of Darren O'Day, who was their 8th inning guy.
The Blue Jays gave Brad Brock his first loss of the season on Friday night in that 4-game series. That when Encarnacion hit a walk-off home run off of Brock. Michael Givens is undefeated at 5-0. Saunders pulls it foul. Michael Saunders has gone over 3. The Blue Jays have 6 runs on 7 hits. We hit a pair of home runs in the 2nd, a 2-run shot by Tulowitzki and a 2-run home run by Devin Travis, who's had a terrific day. Travis has hit 2 doubles and a 2-run home run.
After this ball game, as Michael Saunders strikes out, I don't think he was real happy with that call. When the Blue Jays get back together on Tuesday, we might see Devin Travis in a different spot.
Think he might hit in the leadoff spot?
And that's what I'm thinking. Remember, there's left-handers going in those games. This ball looked like it might have been off the plate, pulled back in by Wieters. Michael Saunders has an outstanding eye at the plate. That ball he thought was off the plate. You can see the reaction.
He's in the other batter's box. 2 outs, Russell Martin. Russell has a double in 3 at-bats. Well, if this score holds up, the Blue Jays will go 3-2 on the road trip through Philadelphia and Baltimore. Not exactly what they had hoped for here in Baltimore.
Well, especially winning the first game and the way they won the first game.
Broken bat, grounder to short. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go down in order. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Orioles with a big offensive day. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn from the Samsung broadcast studio.
the all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Utah Street just beyond the fence in right field here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And then your pitcher for the Blue Jays will be Drew Storen.
29th game of the season for Storen. Drew got into an inning in this series. That was on Friday night. He too had a clean inning, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Pitching much better, using his changeup a little bit more effectively. I think his breaking ball has been a lot better. This is the 3rd time that he has pitched on this road trip. The ERA is starting to come down. He's only walked 7 batters all season long.
He'll deal with the top 3 in the Orioles lineup. Adam Jones is 2 for 4. He'll be followed by Kim, who has 2 hits, and Mark Trumbo, who's gone hitless today. Adam Jones scored the first run of the ball game in the bottom of the 1st. Takes a pitch inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Now it's 2-1 as Jones foul tipped it off the catcher's mitt.
John Gibbons talks about the need of having Drew Storen get back to where he was in the National League. He keeps talking about we need that arm, that veteran arm down in that bullpen. He's got to find it. Seems to be finding it. Breaking ball's better.
High and deep to left, but not that deep as Saunders is there. Jones flies out to start the inning, and just for the 2nd time this afternoon, the Blue Jays retire the leadoff man in an inning.
Sounds like Drew might have broken the bat of Adam Jones. Got inside on him with that fastball. Jones is 2 for 5.
Hyun-Soo Kim, 2 for 4. He's got a couple of singles, 1 to left, 1 to right. Kim is batting .333 for the season, but he hasn't done much damage. A home run, 4 RBIs for Kim. He only has 5 extra base hits.
Think he's going to get some fastballs hitting in the number 2 slot? I think so.
Especially when Manny Machado was there.
Yeah, you got Machado, Davis, then Trumbo hitting behind you. You got Adam Jones ahead of you. You're going to get a lot of fastballs.
A ball and 2 strikes, the number 2 hitter in the Orioles lineup. The Orioles with 17 hits have reached a new high for season in hits. Their season high in runs is 13. That came on June 1st against the Red Sox. They scored 12 runs on June 2nd against the Red Sox. And they, like the Blue Jays, have an explosive lineup that can put up double-digit runs any time. Today is the 6th time this season the Orioles have scored double-digit runs.
How many times do you think about that in spring training? Well, the Orioles don't look very good in spring training, right?
Had a terrible spring training.
Yeah, they're awful. You're like, who's going to pitch for them? And well, they lost this guy and they signed that guy late, and they're probably not going to be very good. Buck Showalter always has a plan. He's using that time in spring training to get his team ready for the season. You might not see the veterans play that much here and there, but they're getting ready. And all of a sudden, once the season starts, here they come. They got off to a great start this year.
7-0. Best start without a loss in Orioles history. And that Oriole history began in 1954. Bouncing ball up the middle. Kim with another single. He's had a 3-hit afternoon. He was a power hitter in Korea, but it doesn't look like his power is going to translate here in the big leagues.
They don't need any more power. They need a guy who can get on base, spray the ball around the field. Here come the power hitters now.
First pitch strike to Mark Trumbo, who's gone 0 for 4.
You know, how good is this offense that the Orioles can throw out there? They came into this series having scored at least 3 runs in 15 consecutive games. Didn't take them long today to get there to 19.
Trumbo gets a base hit, his first of the afternoon. That goes to the wall. Kim is headed for third. Trumbo will end up at second with another extra base hit for the Orioles.
This is
every starter but Hardy has a base hit this afternoon.
And he was robbed of one by Michael Saunders in left field. This is a day where the outfielders are going to get a lot of running in. We're going to put them on. That's a changeup that's out over the plate to Trumbo, and he levels his swing, drives that ball down the left field line.
Trumbo's at it again, giving way to the pinch runner. He picks up a base hit, his first hit of the afternoon. He ends up 1 for 5. Ray Rickard comes off the bench to run at second for Trumbo. Well, the fan reacting to the intentional pass, but you got to walk Davis with runners at second and third and 1 out. Set up a possible double play.
They came here to see him hit. This is the part of the order that has really given the Blue Jays a lot of problems this afternoon.
Chris Davis has 3 hits. Right behind him, Matt Wieters has 4 hits. And then Jonathan Scope behind Wieters has 3 hits. 10 hits in the next 3 spots in the lineup.
Well, this was the first inning against Marcus Stroman. It looked like a changeup out over the plate. Home run number 7 on the season for Matt Wieters. Orioles would score 3 runs in the first inning, and they haven't looked back.
Wieters would double in the 4th, had an RBI single in the 5th, and another RBI single in the 7th. Goes after the first pitch and hops it up on the infield fly rule in effect, and Wieters is retired for the first time this afternoon. Well, here is Jonathan Scope. He had a long home run his last time up in the 7th, a 2-run home run off Jesse Chavez. The Orioles have 19 hits and 11 runs, but they've actually been retired in order twice in this game. They went down 1-2-3 in the 3rd and 1-2-3 in the 6th. And despite that, they still have a 5-run lead.
And if it stays like this, they're only going to hit 8 times today. I mean, they have hit from the first batter to the last.
That plays off. Great numbers over his last 10 games, and they've been enhanced with another 3-hit performance today. Scopes average of 279.
Fastball with some movement. Scope's got 28 extra base hits this year. 15 doubles, a triple, and now 12 home runs after that long home run last at bat.
It's it downstairs. Two balls and two strikes. The bases are loaded with 2 outs here in the 8th. Jonathan Scopes had a 3 RBI afternoon.
He was just outside the top 10 in extra base hits in the American League.
Gorin strikes him out with a good breaking ball, and the Orioles leave the bases loaded. We'll go to the 9th. Blue Jays down by 5. Joey Rickard came in as a pinch runner, taking over for Mark Trumbo. Now he assumes Trumbo's position in right defensively. As we have made it to the 9th, the Orioles got off to a fast start. They scored 3 runs in their first at bat. Got a 3-0 lead before the Blue Jays hit in the 2nd. Blue Jays scored 4 in the 2nd. Troy Tulowitzki started that inning with a 2-run home run. And then Devin Travis, 2 batters later, would follow it up with a 2-run home run of his own.
Things were looking pretty good against Chris Tillman, a guy that the Blue Jays have handled in the past. He buckled down and threw 5 innings, so he is in line for the victory.
It would be his 10th win of the season against a single loss. Tulowitzki's had a good day at the plate. We mentioned the 2-run home run in the 2nd. He also had a leadoff double in the 7th. Double down the right field line. Came around to score on the RBI double by Devin Travis. Another drive deep to right, slicing and going foul down in that corner. The Blue Jays wrap up a tough stretch in their early schedule. They had 12 straight games against the Yankees and the Red Sox. Then they played Detroit for 3. Baltimore came in for a 4-game series. The Blue Jays won that series 3-1. Then they took 3 of 4 against the Phillies, and now looks like they're on the verge of losing 2 of 3 here in Baltimore. Nowitzki, little tapper back to the mound. Rock takes his time. Nowitzki's retired.
Well, you can see why Brock is so tough on right-handers. Came into this game, they're only hitting 104 against him. With that crossfire motion, slider, and a pretty good fastball in the mid-90s. If you're a hitter, I think you got to pick out one side of the plate or the other against this guy. Either look away or look in.
Kevin Pillar had an infield single his first at bat. He was 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Brad Brock came in to put out the fire in the 7th. He inherited a situation with a runner at first and Josh Donaldson at the plate representing the tying run. He struck out Donaldson. Then in the 8th, retired Encarnacion, Saunders, and Martin in order. And now he's got Tulowitzki, the first man here in the 9th.
You know, that's so nasty. The way that he's a big guy too, very tall, and he's got a lot of moving parts out there. As a hitter, you're trying to pick up the baseball, and you see arms and elbows and legs and everything like that. The glove firing at you, and all of a sudden, here comes the baseball. Pretty tough to stay in there on this guy.
Bounces that one in the 3rd. Brad Brock is 6'6". So he presents quite a challenge to find that release point.
Right. Picking it up, first of all, because you see so many moving parts. And he throws hard. We've seen some 94s and some 95s today.
Pillar's battling tough here with 1 out in the 9th.
Kevin was guessing on a pitch away from him. Slider down and away. He was looking for it. He almost walked right into that fastball. Watch his first movement. Out over the plate, recognizes it, and then bounces back.
At that fastball, able to foul it into the seats and stay alive.
That's why hitting is so tough. You've got so many different types of pitchers, righties and lefties, hard throwers, sinkers, sliders. I mean, so many different things. You're trying to think along with this guy. If you think wrong, well, things can happen.
There's a pitch away, and Brock gets a strikeout. It's his 3rd strikeout since entering the game.
Painted on the outside corner. Tough to pick that one up.
So here's the offensive star for the Blue Jays, Devin Travis. 3 extra base hits today. He's 3 for 3. Way outside. It's 2 balls and a strike to Devin Travis. This is the 3rd time in his young career he's driven in 3 runs in a game. His career high is 4.
got a little bit more pop than you think. That ball that he hit for a home run his first time up in the second inning, that was a deep drive to center field. Starting to get his timing down. He also drove a ball over the head of Adam Jones in center field.
Takes a walk with 2 outs. Buck Showalter is out of the dugout. He's going to make a pitching change. How about this? It's 11-6. Brad Brock has thrown 2 complete innings. Brian Dunsing, the left-hander, will come in to try to finish this game off. Brad Brock, those 2 innings, pitched very well. Walks Devin Travis. Brian Goins is the batter. Brian Dunsing into the ball game. The Orioles have a 5-run lead to make a pitching change with 2 outs here in the ninth.
After a day off on Monday, the Blue Jays return to Rogers Center for a mini-series and a mini homestand. 2 games against the Diamondbacks. Tuesday, it is Patrick Corbin going up against Marco Estrada. And then note the start time Wednesday, 3:30 Blue Jays Central start, 4 o'clock first pitch. Robbie Ray going up against Jay Happ. Back to you, Buck.
Thank you, Barry. Brian Dunsing is into the ball game with 2 outs and a runner at first. The batter is Ryan Goins, batting for the first time this afternoon. Goins entered the game as a pinch runner. Goins goes after the first pitch. Travis was on the move with him not holding him on at first.
Run doesn't mean anything. Brian Dunsing was just called up from their AAA team on June the 2nd. So a couple of weeks ago, this is already his 7th game as an Oriole. They sent down TJ McFarland, another left-hander, out of that bullpen yesterday. So you figure Dunsing's going to get some of these shots against left-handed batters.
0-2. Dunsing jumps ahead of Goins quickly. The Blue Jays are down to their last strike. Popped up. This should do it. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, makes the catch. That's the ball game. The Orioles win 11-6 and take the series 2-1.
Well, this was all about Matt Wieters in the middle of the lineup for the Baltimore Orioles to show you the type of firepower that they have. 19 hits, 11 runs against the Blue Jay pitching. Blue Jays still end up with a winning road trip at 3-2. They'll have an off day tomorrow and then welcome in the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Well, the Orioles broke out the big bats. A season-high 19 hits. Big day for Scope, Wieters, and Davis. We'll be back on Tuesday night.